Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, U.S. hegemony is under more threat on a daily basis. Other countries are not particularly thrilled with, the U.S. trying to control them. So, the events that happened this week were that, number one, Saudi Arabia and Iran had a meeting, and this was a meeting where they made a non-aggression agreement with one another. And part of this will include that Iran will not pursue the development of nuclear weapons, which they weren't really pursuing that development anyway. So, but considering the fact that Saudi Arabia previously had an agreement basically against Iran with Israel, this pretty much obliterates that. That's just gone. You can forget about it. So, this is a very big deal. The United States does not like this. And by the way, this meeting was moderated by China. So, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and China. So, this is a big move toward peace in the Middle East, something the United States has been working against for many years. We still have forces in Iraq and Syria. We had to pull out from Afghanistan in a haphazard manner. This is getting stronger and stronger. In addition, this week, Mexico, the president of Mexico, expressed a desire to join the BRICS alliance. So they want to do trade and with China and other countries in a currency other than the US dollar. Also this week, Lindsey Graham had announced that we could send a plan or proposal to send U.S. military forces into Mexico against the drug cartels. That is an invasion of the sovereignty of Mexico. If they don't agree to it, which they don't, and the Mexican president, AMLO, or Obrador, whatever you want to call him, he usually goes by AMLO, said, no, you are not sending U.S. troops into Mexico. No, that would invade our sovereignty. You don't have the right to do this. So there's that threat. China had already made agreements with Iran. Mohammed bin Salman has had multiple meetings with Xi Jinping and with Vladimir Putin, and they're trying to join the BRICS alignment or agreement, organization, whatever. So they're all looking at reducing their exposure to the threat that is posed by the U.S. You look at how the United States has led this charge to sanction and seize assets from different countries, cut Russia and so forth off from the SWIFT system, it only makes sense that another system is going to arise, give it until August, to challenge the SWIFT system. I fully expect that the BRICS meeting in August is going to include the announcement of the creation of a BRICS currency. That may not be an easy thing to accomplish, but between all of these countries, then I'm sure that they can figure this out. And it won't. Some people say it will take years, like establishing the euro took 25 or 30 years. Well, now they've got an example to follow. So they've already got a blueprint for doing this. When you do something one time, it takes much longer. The second time, you've already got an example, you've got blueprints, how-to manual, it's going to take you a lot less time. Call it monetary IKEA, I don't know. All right, in addition, let's face the fact that Ukraine is losing against Russia, and the world has been watching this because the United States has held itself up for so many decades, which for a time the United States military and political force did hold so much sway, but now it is eroding, and the events that are happening in Ukraine have shown the cracks in the system extremely well, especially with the insufficient number stockpiles of weapons, artillery shells, etc. So on top of that, the U.S. threats to China regarding Taiwan, all of the threats, China has not backed down. They're not going to back down. Why should they? No, Taiwan is part of China. That is none of our business. We should have nothing to do with Taiwan. So the fact that China is not just cowering and backing down, and then these different countries, Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, all forming a larger and stronger alliance, which is not just economic and for trade. I think, Iran made a deal to buy Su-35 fighter jets from Russia. So they're building up their military, and Russia's running out of weapons and all this stuff. They're selling weapons. Russia's selling weapons to other countries. That's not the sign that they are out of weapons. These claims are ridiculous. Russia's buying weapons from North Korea and from China, and then so now they're selling fighter jets. That's not a sign of a country that is, out of weaponry. But the cracks in the empire are not just external. Always keep in mind that the U.S. government and corporations are intricately tied to one another. And so on Friday, Silicon Valley Bank was shut down by the FDIC, who seized all assets, and 89% of the deposits were uninsured because the FDIC, insurance guarantee only reaches up to $250,000. Well, there were accounts at the Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, which had deposits of over $1 billion, and others with hundreds of millions. What's going to happen to all of those deposits? Who knows? In addition, other banks that had exposure investments in SVB, their stocks started declining by 10% or so in some cases. How far is this going to go? The lack of funds that have just been disappeared to corporations is going to force a lot of businesses possibly out of business. What's going to happen with this? We have no idea. It is going to take weeks, months, or years to understand the complete fallout from this. A lot of this is going to be hidden behind the scenes, just like 2008. But how many people are going to lose savings? How many businesses are going to lose all of their, most of their deposits, possibly billions of dollars? All of a sudden, that money just disappears. It's gone. What Silicon Valley Bank is doing is, again, showing just how fragile the U.S. financial system is over-leveraged. And it's fragile, it's over-leveraged, and it can fall apart in no time. That's what happens when you have a fiat currency where most of the circulating money is just imaginary. I explained before, if you walk into a bank to take out a loan, when you walk into that bank, that money actually doesn't exist. It's created out of thin air while you're standing there. But your deposits aren't, and which one can be seized and suddenly disappear. It's not going to be your debt, but it can be your deposits. I've also explained that there is a bail-in provision in the United States where your deposits can be seized to pay off the debts of the financial institution that you have your money deposited in. How frightening is that? To illustrate even further, and to the expansion of this, is that Silicon Valley Bank had bought up a ton of mortgage-backed securities, which have lost value. They tried to cash in U.S. Treasury bonds, which is what really set this off. But their investments in the Treasury bonds had lost, what, over $1 billion, and that this is the second largest bank collapse in world history. So the fact that they had lost money investing in U.S. Treasury bonds, which had gone down in value, that illustrates the weakness in the entire Treasury government economic system. You know, if you buy U.S. Treasuries, that should be the most secure investment that you can make. Even if the return is low, it should be secure. What you put in should be what you get out. But that's not the case. Anyway, the U.S. hegemonic control system across the globe, economically, militarily, and politically, is falling apart. As well it should. I'm very patriotic. I love my country. But the fact that we try to control every other country on the planet is just wrong. That's not how things are supposed to operate. But it is how it has been operating for many, many years, and the rest of the world is tired of it. Our economic system, built on debt, the financialization of debt, well, that's coming to an end. People see this for what it is now. Now, it's sad that it took this much for it to happen. We really should rebuild our system in a different way, but it's going to have to collapse even further before we do. If we want a stable and secure economy, it's not going to happen with the over-leveraging fantasy money fiat dollar system, which has been built on assets that don't exist. Anyway, gonna wait and see what happens in the next few weeks regarding all of these events. This is just the beginning of this road. And the most visible beginning. It began long ago. It began at least in 2008, long before 2008. 2008 was another illustration of the fragility of this system, but people haven't paid attention. Anyway, so share this video, talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.